This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at ease.com, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery, as well as an option for the same for folks living in the Portland, Oregon area. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Tuesday, July 30th, 2019, and you're tuned in to episode 765 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. We start the day off in New York State, where yesterday Governor Andrew Cuomo signed into law a bill that removes some criminal penalties from lower-level marijuana possession charges, while also allowing for people with certain past charges on their records to get them expunged. The bill will take effect in 30 days and is estimated by the state's Division of Criminal Justice Services to positively affect at least 24,000 or so New Yorkers by eliminating their criminal records entirely, while also causing the immediate sealing of over 200,000 existing low-level marijuana charges. It's not full-blown legalization, but it's a pretty good step. New Yorkers caught with under an ounce of marijuana under the new law will face no more than a $50 fine, while having between 1 and 2 ounces bumps it up to a maximum of $200. Pop over to the Associated Press's story on this for more. Kimberly Lawson over at Marijuana Moment is reporting that the Caribbean island nation of St. Kitts and Nevis will introduce proposed legislation today to legalize marijuana for both adult use and medical. The two-island nation is located 120 miles or so off the east coast of the U.S. Virgin Islands and has around 55,000 residents, relying heavily on tourism for part of its economic activity. There is a deep and interesting backstory on this one, which Kimberly nicely details in her Marijuana Moment story, which I'd direct you over to. Our final top story today is one of injustice. 26-year-old Jose Palomar was first brought to live in the United States by his parents when he was 6 years old. His parents did not go through legal channels in doing so when Jose got older, he applied to the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, a program under President Obama that allowed people who were brought into the country illegally when they were young to find a path to becoming legal citizens in the country that they then grew up in. Mr. Palomar grew up in Anaheim, California, got married, had a child, was employed, paid taxes, and followed all of the rules and regulations he was told to. As part of the process of reapplying for the DACA program, he was made to go to Mexico for a series of tests and interviews, including physical examinations. When a doctor asked him if he ever used drugs, Mr. Palomar, remembering his lawyer who had told him to always tell the truth, admitted to smoking marijuana when he was younger. That was enough for the government doctor to label him as a drug abuser, blocking him from being approved under DACA and from coming back to the country where he grew up. Mr. Palomar now sits in Mexico, where he knows no one and where he can't speak the language, while the evil, racist Trump government does all it can to hurt him and people like him, because that's what it does. Read this story, retain the outrage. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, ease.com, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery, as well as an option for the same for folks living in the Portland, Oregon area. Ease just turned 5 years old, and to help celebrate that big milestone, the Ease editorial team talked to some of their customers about their first experience getting legal cannabis delivery through Ease. Pop over to ease.com/home to check out some of those stories, nicely captured on video, and then keep scrolling to see all the legal marijuana products up for order. If you live in a part of California or Oregon where Ease is active and are hitting submit during legal delivery hours, you'll see your Ease orders show up in your door in less than an hour. Big thanks to everyone at Ease for supporting today's news. All right, time for the Blitz. Colorado-based hemp CBD company Charlotte's Web just announced that it will introduce its products into 1,350 Kroger-owned grocery stores located in 22 U.S. states. Besides the Kroger brand, Kroger also controls King Soopers, Fred Meyer, Dillon's, and Fry's, among others. Friday was the last day that the state of Utah accepted appeals in the process it's going through in handing out medical marijuana cultivation licenses. We were on this storyline last week as the first legal challenge was filed, and as Marijuana Business Daily and the Associated Press are reporting, 5 other companies joined in by the end of the week. Utah decided to give out only 8 of the 10 licenses it could have, with authorities saying they wanted to avoid oversupply. Utah's medical marijuana law stipulates that licenses will not be given out under legal challenge, so the industry is a bit on hold until things resolve. We'll keep watching. The Financial Post has an interesting angle up about the ongoing CanTrust fiasco as that Canadian company works to right itself after being caught growing illicit cannabis off books. The company itself has seen its stock price plummet as a result, with all of its product sales being ceased, and CEO Peter Aceto lost his job, being pushed out by the board last week. The Post's story looks at the $6.2 million or so in stock options that Aceto lost upon his termination for cause. Ouch. Illinois-based marijuana company Cresco Labs is rebranding its dispensary chain under the new brand Sunnyside, with a stated focus on personal wellness. Cresco will roll out the new brand in stages, with the first Sunnyside shop to open in Pennsylvania in November. Currently, Cresco Labs owns 22 dispensaries in 11 states, as well as 56 total retail licenses. On Friday, Colorado Governor Jared Polis defended legal marijuana delivery as a way to reduce the number of people driving after consuming cannabis. Governor Polis was up on stage for a panel discussion at a National Governors Association meeting when the issue of driving after consuming was brought up. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey spoke up about the difficulties in testing for legal cannabis consumption and then said that it was something that scared him. Governor Polis chimed in with an endorsement for allowing legal delivery, saying, quote, "Our new efforts include allowing delivery of marijuana, so we're moving away from the risk of people driving while impaired by having legal delivery to people's homes," unquote. Speaking of Arizona, that state's Attorney General Mark Brnovich has approved the trial use of an online digital payment system within the state's medical marijuana program. When the system is up and running, patients will be able to buy electronic tokens, each worth $1, which will then be able to be redeemed at an Arizona medical cannabis dispensary. And finally for today, Leafly picked up on a report by media publisher Gannett, which puts out the newspaper USA Today, that looks at how the increasing popularity of marijuana affects the usage rates of painkillers and alcohol. As you probably won't be too surprised to hear, the use of marijuana has a pretty strong connection with the reduced use of booze and pharmaceutical painkillers. The report packs up its findings nicely, so I'd send you that away to better build out your understanding of legal marijuana consumers. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Ease, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the lesser ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in, starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.